Today on Global Card Journeys, we uncover a TCG treasure in Istanbul. I used Google Maps to find the store, not too far from my location, so Moana and I decided to check it out. One thing you can't miss in Turkey is the sheer number of Turkish flags. It's a country proud of its heritage. A little bit like New Zealand has an abundance of cones, Turkey has a plethora of Turkish flags. Since we were in Taksim Square, we made sure to pass the Republic Monument, which is a tribute to Ataturk. The monument celebrates Turkey's founding father as both a military general and a statesman of the Republic. This general footage I took has a fun moment. A scammer tried his luck with me and I have it on camera. Did you see him? Let's look again. There he is. If you ever come to Turkey, beware of these guys. They'll usually flash tourists with a box of brand name cologne like Armani, Chanel, Bulgari, but be careful. While the samples they show may smell like the real deal, the bottle you'll get is essentially sugar water. From Taksim Square, we journeyed to Beşiktaş, famous for its passionate football club and Ataturk's historic connection to Dolmabahce Palace. A quick minibus ride brought us to the lively Beşiktaş Center, a popular spot for university students which gives the area its vibrant atmosphere, especially on game days. We walked past the local fish market, where you can choose your fish and have it cooked at a nearby restaurant. The Beşiktaş Eagle statue stands proudly in the center of town, a symbol of the local football team. And just a short walk from there, we discovered our destination, Pegasus Games, a haven for Magic the Gathering fans, Warhammer enthusiasts, and us Pokémon fans. Stepping inside Pegasus Games is like entering a world specifically made for TCG players. They've got cards everywhere. For my fellow Kiwis out there, I was stoked to see a surprisingly decent flesh and blood collection, a little slice of home here in Turkey. But what really struck me about Pegasus Games was the atmosphere. It's not just a store, it's a community. Everybody seems to know each other, chatting about decks, trades, and the latest releases. It felt more like a social club than a shop, a place where Warhammer and Magic the Gathering players gather to battle and bond. And speaking of Magic the Gathering, this place has some serious street cred. I spotted a bunch of medals and awards, some for Yu-Gi-Oh!, but the Magic the Gathering trophies were seriously impressive. Turns out I was in for a surprise. I had the chance to chat with the store's owner, Yusuf Vefa, and discovered he's not just any store owner. He's a Turkish Magic the Gathering legend. He's played in countless international tournaments and even won an MTG Grand Prix event.
Is a huge draw for Yusuf Vefa here.
That's a lethal attack.
It appears to be. He's been able to make a flyer, and there's the handshake. We have our Grand Prix champion.
I found his thoughts on the Turkish card collecting community really insightful and really useful, so I hope that you enjoy this interview as well.
Congratulations to Yusuf Vefa, our champion here.
Alright, so we're here at Pegasus Games in Beşiktaş in Istanbul, and I'm here with the owner Yusuf. Yusuf, do you want to just tell us maybe a little bit about how you started the store and how you opened it up and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I was already a player. I started playing Magic the Gathering in 1995, and then there was organization problems. So I tried to organize the tournaments myself, because you know, when you start doing a hobby and when there are some things missing, somebody has to do it. So I started organizing events in 1996, 1997. I was doing all the small events first, and it became bigger, kind of like nationals. And then I noticed that there isn't a place to play the games. So like you need at that moment we didn't know it's called like local gaming store. So we needed a place that later we learned that it's called local gaming store. We then decided to build a local gaming store in 1999 actually, and then I started the business. I started the import-export as well. I started organizing my tournaments there, and sometimes when it's bigger in the hotels. And then it became a bit bigger because then there were distribution problems with all the card games. So then we became distributor. First for the Magic the Gathering, and then for Yu-Gi-Oh, and then for Games Workshop, and in between there was also Italeri, the models company, and then WizKids at that point. So since then we are distributor for some of them. We are organizing anything we can for all these games, and we are of course selling both in our stores. There's one another in Ankara, it's also Pegasus, and also selling the wholesale as well, because the other LGS stores, most of them are also buying from us, or some chains. Now less chains, more local gaming stores, which is I think better for these games, because like being professional in something is much better for the customer, for the end user as well, because when they ask you questions, you can answer them, you can teach them the game, you can play with them, you can organize tournaments for them. So nowadays I think we have 6 local gaming stores in Turkey, plus some other hobby stores, and it's going a bit bigger and bigger every year, and I love it.
Are you basically? It sounds like you're one of the very first, I guess, gaming stores in Turkey to open up. Do you want to just talk about maybe are you one of the first? And second, it seems like you're a Magic the Gathering guy. So do you want to just maybe tell us a little bit about your journey there too?
Yeah, sure. I started like everyone. I started playing the kitchen table Magic with my girlfriend at that point. So we bought 2 decks and we started playing. And I noticed that I loved it. I wanted to play competitive, and then we started to have like nationals and tournaments like that. And then I won my first nationals, and I went to my first World Championship. It was 1998 Seattle, and then it went on from there. I started playing professionally. I've been to many Pro Tours and Worlds, like I think 11 Worlds, 20 Pro Tours. There were Grand Prix, now they are changed in names, but they are still big organizations like that. I've been to I think 140, 150 GPs. Those are great events. I mean, like there are still very big events like that. I still go to like 15, 16 international events every year, but I'm not playing as much. I used to play like 40 hours, 50 hours per week. Now I'm playing like 10, 15, which is, I can now call myself semi-professional, because like I just can't play that much anymore, but I still love the game. I do some good results, but not as I used to. Like I won a Grand Prix before, I made good scores in Pro Tours, etc. And that was one of the nice things about the journey as well, because like there was a motto. Now I think Flesh and Blood is also using it, like play the game, see the world. So just for playing the game, I've been to 35 different countries and over 100 cities for playing Magic. So, and you know, you meet different people from different nationalities. You have common interests, which is great, and then you learn that they are not so different actually, and it's incredible. So my best Magic buddies, most of them are from all around the world, and it's like having home, having a place to stay in all those places. It's also the same for them. Like whenever they visit, they can of course just stay with us. You know, we'll try to be their best tourist guide. So it's incredible. Like especially those big events bring people together. You make new friends. The community thing, the gathering part of Magic, I think that's the best part for me.
That's a great. That's the dream, right? That's the dream for, I think, for collectors or gamers. You want to build community. That's what it's all about, really. And you have your store here that does that. I've definitely felt that as a collector from New Zealand when I've started to interview people from around the world. It's like I've got a whole bunch of new friends from all over the place, and it's just incredible. That's such a great story. Hey, do you want to just tell us a little bit more about maybe what's popular here in Turkey? Maybe just a little bit more about like the Turkish card collecting market, and maybe obviously you're the Magic the Gathering expert as well. So is Magic big? We're obviously Pokemon fans. I feel like Pokemon's pretty big here too. Any thoughts on what the Turkish market is like?
Sure. I mean, especially in Turkey, Magic is big, but Magic is especially playing and competitive part of Magic is kind of bigger than most of the other card games. But I believe at this point, Pokemon is at least selling as much as Magic, and collectors of Pokemon is probably more than any other card game in Turkey as well. It's usually like that all around the world as well. Like there might be some exceptions, but usually it's like that for Pokemon. So we do have a lot of Pokemon collectors, which is great, and some people also play like both of them, or 3 or 4 card games, because once you start doing one and then the second one comes and the third one comes, that's great. And then there are also lots of Yu-Gi-Oh players, and nowadays we are into Flesh and Blood. It has nice organized play, so we are getting into the organized play for Flesh and Blood. We do have One Piece, we do have Digimon, even Digimon, because it's smaller in many countries, but we have some fans. And nowadays, again, Lorcana is new in Turkey, but we love it because it also helps younger players to start play the card game. So they might continue with Lorcana, or they might get into another card game. So basically, we have most of the popular card games in Turkey, but player-wise, I think Magic has the most, and collector-wise, Pokemon has the most players or collectors.
Yeah, that's great. Very good to just give me a little bit of a background about card collecting here. Anything else you wanted to share with us about, like maybe your store or anything else that's coming up in the future that you're excited about before you go?
Yeah, I mean, we are excited about something like expanding to outside the country. We are working on it. It's not definite yet, but we are working on a few projects. So we'll have probably more Pegasus in Europe, maybe than somewhere else in the world, but first it's Europe. Our market is a bit smaller in card games, so basically I think we are almost at the limit for at least Istanbul, Ankara and Izmir, 3 big cities. We might expand to other cities as well, but at the moment our future plans is expanding to some countries in Europe, and I think it will be good for everyone because it's healthy competition, and we have some things that are not common in European local gaming stores. If we can, we do stay open 365 days and 13 hours every day, maybe more. So like that's one of the nice things about my company, because like we try to give the opportunity to collectors, players to come whenever they want and play whichever game they want or buy whatever they want. So I like the community spending time in my store. So because I'm part of the community, it's like a very big family, and we even go to like vacations together. We go to cinemas together. We play soccer or basketball together. It's as I said, it's like one big family. That's the nice thing about this place. So I hope to expand as much as I can, and I hope to do it as much as I can. I mean, like I'm 51 now, and I plan to do it for the rest of my life.
That really is living the dream, Yusuf. Hey, I really want to say thank you so much for giving us your time for this very short interview. Definitely the dream, like being able to have your I guess your job or your business, which is spending time with your community. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much for letting me say these things, and I hope you do. I mean, like you seem like you are doing same thing. Like when you do something that you love, when your work is something you love, it's not like work. So it feels like even if we work like 80-90 hours per week, it doesn't feel like that. So I hope everybody does that.
Thank you so much, Yusuf.
Thank you very much.
So in conclusion, if you're ever in Istanbul and you're looking for a place to connect with fellow TCG players, pick up some cards, or just soak in an awesome atmosphere designed for TCG players, check out Pegasus Games in Beşiktaş. It really is a card gem.